Yo, we are back on day 3 of the Sylva Snowcast. Newly rebranded. The newly rebranded Black Rabbit Collective, baby. I just got to say, we're just going to get it out of the gate right now, right out of the start. I've had so much fun the last 2 days doing this with you guys, just kicking it and hanging out. Look at that. Boom. We even got graphics, baby. Black Rabbit Collective. That's the reveal, the big reveal of the day. So, like, I don't know. I had so much fun the last couple days on this page doing this. Just like, I don't know, it just felt like more casual. It felt more comfortable. We have a whole show planned for the day. Any guests want to chime in, they're welcome to hit me up like we have in the past couple days. Give us some updates on what's happening around town, what you're seeing out there, what's open, what's closed. Yeah, so we rebranded. I got done doing the stream yesterday, and I started thinking to myself, you know, this channel, Jeff would really love to see me actually do something with this and see me continue this momentum that we generated over the weekend. So I got to thinking, you know, Jeff's Gravy Train was his name when we were bringing ideas together. I was asking him, like, what did you want to call our show? And that's what he came up with. But the things that we're going to be doing, the things that we're going to be looking at, I felt like we needed to rebrand it, but also pay homage to the man that started it all, the man that cared about everybody, the man that would absolutely love to see what we're about to do with this bad boy. So yeah, let's get into what we woke up to first, man. It was a little chilly this morning. I will definitely admit, over here at Casa de Dharma, we are up to almost 20 degrees right now. And damn it, it feels lovely out there. Like, it feels wonderful. 20 feels like 40. It's going to get to 40, and 40 is going to feel like 70. That's what I'm saying today. Mark my words, baby boy. That is what I'm saying today. So when it gets to 40, walk your ass outside, because it's going to feel like 70. Out here in front of the crib, the roads look good. Angela's flight, her rebook flight, is scheduled for like 4 o'clock. So we're going to be heading to Asheville at about 2 o'clock to do our own investigating and get a little bit of lay eyes on what's going on out there. But right now here at the Casa de Dharma, 19 degrees. It did get down pretty dang low today. So I woke up to a 3 degrees. Pretty crazy, pretty wild. Well, let me take it off a weekly mode and let's put it on daily mode. I was looking at the weeks, the high wind gust, actually, what I was looking at this morning before we signed on. But yeah, 3 degrees temperature. That was actually the exact same as yesterday. No, 9. Yeah, so 3 degrees. Yeah, 2 days in a row. Sunday, February 1st, and then Monday, February 2nd. Both 3 degrees with a high 18.5 so far. Got up to 31.5 yesterday. The shit's melting off slowly. No work today, but we will be back at work tomorrow. So we will totally be back at work tomorrow. Chilly start to the morning. Very chilly start to the morning. You can get a quick shot of 441. Cars driving by. Get you a little peek on what's happening out there. Roads look real clear. All the shoveling that I did yesterday really paid off. We're not going to have any trouble getting out of here in a couple of hours from now. So we are not going to have any trouble. But yeah, we did we did go ahead and drop a rebrand. So really excited to see. I don't know, it just felt like comfortable. Like I want to cover some of the local news. I want to cover some of the local Jackson County politics, Jackson County commissioners and their meetings. And depending on how today goes, we might get into that just a little bit. But I want to cover those things because they're important to me and I care about them. And I feel like we're getting bamboozled um, pretty easily, But I want to talk about those things, but not from such like a serious perspective and a serious point of view, because I'm not a serious person. So just pretending I know that shit will just that shit would just burn me out to no end. So um, cat's out of the bag. I'll just go ahead and say it. Like I had this whole thing already scheduled and already planned out in that regard that I've been working on for like 2 or 3 months. It was a live stream podcast, thing like this, where that was called The Fourth Minute, where we were going to actually specifically look at the Jackson County issues from the perspective of the working class, through the lens of kindness and through the lens of compassion, and really like look at what's happening with like the library saga and the county commissioner's decisions and the spending of taxpayer dollars and all that crap. But doesn't that just sound so serious? Doesn't that just sound way too serious for something that me or Jeff would do? That's just not who we are. So, but I had a page built. I had like these backdrops and stuff were what I was using for that. I had recorded some videos, logo, YouTube page, Facebook page, like all that stuff. And I was just like, it felt too serious to pull the trigger. And so I never did. And then this snowstorm rolled in and I fired up the old Gravy Train podcast. And it just, we had a blast. We've had so much fun. So I wanted to keep doing that. I wanted to keep that going, but then maybe also integrate some of the stuff that I was interested in doing. And like from the intention of having fun with my homeboy Jeff, like not anything. I don't know. I just like I know that stuff will burn me out, and I know that stuff will lead to me just quitting this shit. So that's how I roll. So after we got off yesterday, we talked to Toby for just a little bit and discussed some things. I got to thinking that I got to keep doing this. So this is actually the third day in a row, day 3 of Jeff's Gravy Train Black Rabbit Collective rebrand. 3 days in a row has led to a rebrand. That's where we're at. 3 days in a row has led to a rebrand. So, we new logo, new everything. We posted on our YouTube this morning. Make that big enough for everybody. For those who have been with us since the beginning of Jeff's Gravy Train, this started as a friendship. This rebrand is my way of keeping the spirit alive. Named in honor of my co-host and best friend, Jeff Jones, this channel is evolving into something bigger. We're building the new front porch of Jackson County because that's who we are. If Jeff was here right now, he'd be sitting on the front porch of Jackson County. That's what he did for 50 years around here. So, I just thought that that would be the thing to do. So the logo, the man's face, it's just my way of keeping his spirit alive because I really like all of those serious things that I was talking about, all those serious topics that like I'm afraid of. Jeff was not beyond interested in them. Like he was having those conversations with me on the daily, about like what was happening and things like that. Like his favorite, let me pull that down. His favorite thing to do was, if I would ask him, hey, what do you think about, Mayor Phillips doing ... He'd say, horse's ass. What do you think about Jenny Lynn Hooper voting to leave the FRL Library? Horse's ass. That was his favorite thing to say. So he cared about these things. Like he was involved in the Jackson County Democratic Party for like many years and It was something that he was passionate about, and his brother was a county commissioner, and he wasn't maybe necessarily too happy with some of the things he was doing and with the performance and things that he was things that he was doing for the county. So yeah, that's our rebrand. Um, it's it's pretty exciting. Um, I don't know. We'll see how consistent we can be. We're going to shoot for Wednesdays. That was what the intention was of the fourth minute. I was calling it the fourth minute because when you go to give your public comment at the county commissioners meetings, they give you 3 minutes. So we were going to be the fourth minute and just carry that conversation. But we can do that right here with the Black Rabbit Collective. So we can totally do that right now with the Black Rabbit Collective. Um, that also just leads me right over to the only bit of promotion that you'll hear from us, something that we're doing at work in 2 weeks. I found out about it on Friday when I was handed a flyer, but really exciting, right? Here in Western North Carolina, these nonprofits and different organizations, almost every year, somebody's doing a polar plunge. And my personal experience with these events is when you put them on your calendar and you promote them heavily and you get people to sign up. In years past, different things that I've observed and potentially participated in, day of event, it'll be 70 degrees and warm, and there won't be a whole lot of polar to that plunge, but it's definitely for a good cause. So the Jackson County Parks and Rec Department has decided to host a polar plunge fundraiser for the community table, and that's going to be taking place on Saturday, February 14th. Does it say what time? Saturday, February 14th. You can register to participate. It's $20. And you can do that on the Jackson County Parks and Recreation website or scanning the QR code on the screen in front of you. Let me see if I can find out exactly. It does February 14th at 11 a.m. for the plunge. The community table will have a booth set up with hot chocolate and other snacks available in exchange for a donation. And following the main plunge, anyone interested is welcome to stick around for a quick game in the water. Unfortunately, the water to the bathroom is shut off, so no showers are available, but a porta john will be present. So, yeah, if y'all want to come support us, we're thinking about doing some fun things to get people to sign up. But I think I'm gonna have to do it. I talked about it on the show yesterday. I drive by the pool every single day, and for like 2 months, I've been telling my friends how nice the pool looks. I've been telling my friends how inviting the pool is. It's like nice, crystal clear blue water. Like I drive by like 7:30 in the morning, and the words, the language that I have used is specifically, it's inviting. The pool is so inviting. So I don't see any way I'm getting out of this. But we want to see how many people we can get out there to join us. So it's a pretty exciting thing. I don't know that we've ever really done anything like that. But yeah, it's we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the weather holds up. I think honestly, like right now, I had my weather station. Let's see if we can get a forecast right here. I think that's still 2 weeks away. I doubt we're gonna get a forecast that far out. But I saw like some warming trends for February from the National Weather Service on Twitter this morning. I did see some warming trends, which we might be able to look at a little bit later. But I thought I saw that it was supposed to warm up in the next couple weeks, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Yeah, nothing right out of the gate. So, anyways, yeah, back to the storm. That's it for the promo. Thanks for participating or supporting us. I'm assuming if you just want to pay the $20 to come have some hot chocolate and hang out with us, you're welcome to do that. But if you want to jump in the pool, I think that'd be the ticket for you. So yeah, let's roll, baby. Let's roll. Looks like fun, sounds like fun. major snow totals coming in. People are actually getting their reports out. The weather service was um, taking observations all weekend, and they got some preliminary reports in. Um, Massive numbers. It's crazy. It's not often that you see such a concentration right here in Jackson County. It's always a dud, dude. It's always a dud, but it was not this time. These are observed totals between 1 p.m. Saturday to 1 p.m. Sunday. So the highest totals in Jackson County looks like about 12 inches, which I saw was reported in like Kitchens Branch, but even like 9 inches in like central Jackson County. I know my house had like 6 or 8 inches. So a lot of folks digging out today. A lot of folks digging out. So probably another good day to just like stay home and kick it and see what's going on. A lot of places are probably not open. Um, a lot of places are probably not open. I know my place of employment kept us home because we wanted to make sure that people weren't out on the roads and people had time to dig out and all that good stuff. So um yeah, I my driveway looked so good because we busted our asses on both Saturday and Sunday, cleaning it out, literally multiple times a day, shoveling it. The Northerners know how it is when you shovel your driveway and then the plow just comes and immediately um, pushes all the snow right back into the area that you just cleaned out. Well, that happened to us like multiple times on Saturday and Sunday. However, we got some pretty clear. We've got the clearest driveway on the block right now. We got the clearest driveway on the block. So here's a little shot of did a little time lapse of us clearing it out, but it both me and Angela just working together. You see those drifts just ripping, dude. Look at those drifts up here. Massive drifts. And it looks good because of all that. I had to go out there a couple more times, but look at that. And then it's just literally just blowing right back on. But because of that, you get that, you know? Because of that, you get that. And now we can go wherever we needed to. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting one. And then I got one more for you of the dog. So I don't know how clear this image is gonna be because it was recorded with my AR glasses, so like a POV camera on your glasses, but the dogs were just like tearing it up out there. Look at that shit. I mean, that's like 6 inches right here in town. Look, dog's gone. Dog's gone. Are we done? Look at all that snow on my face. Are we done? Are we done? No, we're not done. That's a 10-year-old black lab. A 10-year-old black lab. Captured with the X-Real eye. Not a bad setup. I'm looking forward to seeing it improve, but it's not a bad it's not the worst setup in the world. I did the cloud cover that was going over um in the snowfall. I saw some sick images from the National Weather Service aerial photographs, satellite shots of the snow in North and really all the Carolinas. It's absolutely stunning. Make that shit big, baby boy. And you could see it just start melting off yesterday. That's one of the coolest graphics that I've seen in a while. Watching it come and then watching it go. Who's calling me from the Bay Area? Yeah, we do. I reckon the rabbit lines are open, bro. You could call the rabbit lines. The rabbit lines are open. Oh my lord, we missed the black rabbit. We miss him. That kid was something else. The kid was something else. Let me get this bullshit. My computer was struggling yesterday. I had a lot going on. I wanted to see if it would improve a little bit today didn't um if I didn't overdo it too much today. So I was trying not to overdo it. Um Shots of the lows. Woo wee. From the National Weather Service today. It was quite chilly, dude. Quite chilly. There's our 4 degrees in Jackson County. I see a -2 in the western county line out towards Swain County, or -2 report, and then like some -4s out on like the Tennessee state line. Damn cold this morning, the coldest it's ever been. No good comments. No good comments. But yeah, it's damn cold. So damn cold. Damn cold. Um and then there was one other one's Myrtle Beach, bro. Myrtle Beach got in on the action. And then we'll get into some local news. Because some stuff's had me just fired up for a minute lately. Let's see what this is all about. Snow on the beach, dude. Myrtle Beach, snow on the beach. Look at that parking lot. I've been to that parking lot. Incredible. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen a storm like that like just covered the whole entire state and everybody got in on the action. There's always storms where they're like, "Oh, it's coming. You're gonna get this and you're gonna get that," and then it never like pans out that everybody gets it. But there was literally, I don't think there was anybody that got a nothing burger. I saw one chart that said every county in the state of North Carolina got at least some kind of measurable snow during this event. So that's and the NC Climate Office reports frigid lows as well. But I don't know that I haven't seen anybody that actually didn't get zooted the way that nobody did this time. Uh nobody missed out on the action. Everybody got in on it. So um bear with me for 1 second. We're gonna get into some library stuff. Is anybody tired of hearing about the library? It's so important. It's such an important issue. I know that. Um, I'm trying to find some videos that I had saved on my computer. Want to see. moving on now to I want to see if I can play a video right off my computer and how hard that would be. And then we'll get into some of this library stuff. But I had yeah, it's not going to work. Jesus. There we go. Oh, yeah. You want a teaser? There's a teaser. There's a teaser for you. There's a teaser for you. All right. All right. All right. Let's close that out. And I got to find those videos. Because this shit is wild, dude. What these people, the shit that these people are doing is absolutely insane. All right, where? All right, got it. Got what we're looking for. So, just a couple days ago, the Smoky Mountain News released an article about the foundational unease of the Fontana Regional Library Board because shit has been getting heated over there. In case you didn't know, last year, if you live in Jackson County, you're tired of hearing about it, and I'm asking you to just bear with me for a little bit, because what we're gonna do is not just the traditional let's look at it and beg these guys to change their minds. Um, we're I spotted something in the last meeting, and we are going to address it right now. Yeah, something caught my eye in the last meeting, and we're going to address it right now. So, but in order to go through that, I think that we need to just take a real quick general look. So everybody knows last year, Jackson County Board of Commissioners voted to exit the Fontana Regional Library contract in hopes of starting their own or running their own county library. So things have just been like heated up. They voted on it last year. People have been arguing back and forth nonstop. It's essentially a jab at the First Amendment. You know, there's a group of radical Republicans. There's a group of radical Republicans who don't approve of LGBTQ books being on the shelves of the library. That is the basis of what this is all about. Anybody, they can spin it however they want, they can talk about however they want, but the gist of it is there's a small group of conservative Christians that are heavily involved in the local Republican Party, and they are upset about a few LGBTQ books being on the shelves of the library. And that has just like completely devolved over the last like 2 or 3 years, turning the county and essentially our neighbors, all 3 counties that are involved in this contract, because it's a regional library system. So there's like 3 of us in this contract, essentially turning all 3 of those counties into a South Park episode. I have seen this before on TV. I have seen this before in a satirical animated show. You know, it's absolutely insane. So, however, just recently, my man Kyle over at the Smoky Mountain News wrote a real good general article about what has happened and transpired over a lot of this time. And so I'm not going to like read the whole entire article to you. I encourage you to go find it at the Smoky Mountain News. If you just go to their homepage, it's like one of the first articles that's up if you just want to catch up. But there's important information that's like happened recently that I think we should just really look at. So It just talks about how the boards just struggled over the last year to function, how um, directors have stepped down, a whole new regime has kind of like come in, regime that's been very meticulously placed there, very intentionally placed there. Librarians have quit. Uh, I think accountants have quit. Most recently, an attorney who was working for him pro bono moved on, and they're having trouble locating a new attorney. The FRL director just resigned last week over all this stuff. I mean, it's really like the I'm concerned for the organization. Like they have to be struggling. It's an 80-year-old library system. Um, but there's like some stuff in there. Um, so that's like all 2023. You guys can catch up. You guys can catch up. I want to get into the part about what is happening recently. May 25, Jackson County Commissioners. Let's make this bigger for y'all. Um, took up the idea of withdrawing from the library system. They had a highly contentious library board meeting where one of the librarians from the Cashers Library resigned and explained why. About how the attorney moved on and how the new attorney walked away out of pressure. So like they were attention. So this is a really good place to catch up after the whole debacle. All right. So when the FRL attorney Randy Lars took a job at Western Carolina University last year and discontinued his pro bono representation, so that gentleman had been representing the FRL, um, doing pro bono work for him, probably for a number of years. He took a job at WCU, but I'm sure he didn't want to continue to do pro bono work for um, a library system that's being overtaken by conservative Christians. Pretty plain and simple. Um, so the Fitzmaurice conducted a search, and she had difficulty finding an attorney. She had dead end after dead end, and she finally came under contract with a woman named Julie Houghton of the Asheville law firm Teague and Campbell. They paid a retainer. They paid a retainer fee to the attorney. Things appeared to be moving forward until Houghton canceled the contract and refunded the retainer, telling Fitzmaurice that a board member called and mentioned that there could be a conflict of interest since Jackson County Attorney John Kubis also works for Teague Campbell. The two parties will work together as Jackson County continues toward its withdrawal from the FRL. According to the Bar Association, attorneys from the same firm can't represent two parties in some cases where those parties are directly adverse, essentially meaning that a client would have to reasonably fear that their lawyer won't represent their best interests. However, in cases where the conflict is consentable, meaning we're two parties and we're vacating each other, and the client agrees, the consent can be confirmed in writing and the process can move forward. Remember, she looked for an attorney for a long time and couldn't find an attorney. Nobody would Angela's texting me about the cat vet. Um, she looked for attorneys for a long time and was turned down one after another. And literally, this was the only attorney that would take the case. However, in cases where the conflict is consentable, the clients agree the consent can be confirmed in writing and the process can move forward. They did reach out to the attorney and they did not comment on the story. So 2 weeks ago, they had a meeting. None of the trustees owned up to making the call to Hooten or having any knowledge of who did, meaning either one of them was withholding the truth, someone else called impersonating an trustee, or it was a member of a county library advisory board. So somebody from an advisory board contacted the attorney about a conflict of interest. Somebody from the board is lying and did contact the attorney and did not admit that they did, or somebody impersonated an FRL trustee, which is absolutely possible with the folks that we're dealing with. It's going to be a long time before we get an attorney, Monet said during the meeting. In the meantime, the nonprofit Jackson County Public Library Allies is taking donations to hire an attorney of their own to launch legal inquiries, potentially into the FRL board or its member counties. The group estimates the initial legal cost could be between $20,000 and $25,000. So if you want to fight back and fight for your county and fight for the First Amendment, maybe you should make a donation to the Jackson County Public Library Allies. So it's just really weird that like this like weird like shady stuff is happening, going back and forth, and then like there's a bunch of legal precedent with like leaving a library and yada yada yada. So I mean, it's like a real vulnerable place to be. There was a report on December 22nd that a library received a request to review a book called "This Book Is Gay." They wanted to move it into the adult section, I believe from the young adults section. And so like it's just like on and on and on. But we're getting to the gist of it here. So all right, during the meeting, Deborah Smith. So it's like the library board meeting. It was like last week. It was a couple days or the day after the last county commissioners meeting. During the meeting, Deborah Smith, a trustee from Jackson County, spoke directly to the public to voice her frustration with local media reporting, saying coverage has created vitriol against the newer trustees who are pushing change. The criticism seemed to be directed towards the Smoky Mountain News and the Sylva Herald. Smith said she hoped that by standing up and calling out the media when they get it wrong, they will get it right more often. While Smith spoke in a public forum, that wasn't the case for whoever sent a series of anonymous threatening emails to the FRL librarians, trustees, and members of the media. The Sylva Herald was the object of ire in a complete couple of emails. The author focused on Jackson County Commission candidate Casey Wallawinder's text messages with Sylva Herald reporters David Russell and Beth Lawrence. Neither Lawrence nor Russell were at the meeting, so Wallawinder provided updates during the meeting. The emails were sent from the address. So right there. So like there's just like weird like behavior going on and like weird patterns of like attack, offense, something strange is happening. And we read all that first off with the library board because all of these conservative Christians, they've put them in place on this library board. So we're just trying to like show a pattern of behavior. But last week, this account, D Russell 69 at protonmail.me, which is, real, it's cute. It's a cute way of going after Dave Russell of the Sylva Herald. They're going to email them from this, like, obviously, like, bogus email address and start mm, harassing the Sylva Herald. I read in the newspaper last week, threatened the Sylva Herald. But the Sylva Herald was the object of ire in a couple of emails. The author focused on commissioner candidates' text messages with the Sylva Herald reporters sent from this email. The author claimed that Russell and Lawrence were colluding with extremists to create a mob response to recent FRL board decisions. The email contained excerpts from text messages from Wallowinder to the reporters, criticized the adoption of the interlocal agreement amendments, calling some of the trustees dumb. Go Casey. The email threatens legal action and calls on Russell and Lawrence to resign. So like they're literally this Proton Dave Russell pseudonym is emailing and threatening legal action against the Sylva Herald if Dave Russell and Beth Lawrence do not resign. Both Dave Russell and Beth Lawrence have proven they are not journalists and are merely activists against our libraries and against democracy. The email reads, "This is your only warning," it added. "We will not respond to you." So you send a threatening email, but if they do not want a response back. They do not want a response back. So instead of responding back because they didn't want it, the Sylva Herald and Smoky Mountain News co-published an editorial on that email that also contained some original reporting. In the piece, Wallowinder describes alleged harassment from longtime FRL critic Jim Gaston at the FRL board meeting, which she attended with her children, and the next day from Keith Blaine, Jackson County GOP chair, and Gaston's close ally. Wallowinder told Smoky Mountain News that she wants to laugh at the situation, especially the accusation that she's an extremist. However, having such text released and the extreme language used is concerning. It's threatening. It should be concerning, especially from these people. It's a threat, a direct threat. The words that they're using are pretty harmful. They've accused librarians of grooming children. These people, Keith Blaine and Jim Gaston have accused librarians of grooming children. That is a fact. They have done that. It is on the record. There have been comments about gay people coming for your kids. They're calling people pedophiles and saying that our libraries are distributing child pornography. The email regarding the Sylva Herald claimed that Wallowinder had leaked the text messages, implying that she voluntarily gave them to someone. That is not the case. Smoky Mountain News has obtained 6 photographs taken from over Wallowinder's shoulder that depict the text messages. The individual who provided them to the Smoky Mountain News said they were received from Gaston not long after the meeting. Wallowinder confirmed the photos are accurate and that Gaston was sitting in the position to take the picture from the angle. Who does this, dude? Have these people not lost their mind? They are harassing this candidate and taking pictures over her shoulder of text messages that she's sending to reporters. Now, there's nothing inappropriate of a candidate sending a text message to a reporter that I'm aware of. So what it looks like, I mean, listen, I am not the sharpest tool in the shed at all. I am not. But based off of what I'm reading in this article, it appears that the person who operates this email address, drussell69@protonmail.me, that person has something to do with the person who is taking pictures over the candidate's shoulder. There is some relation to the two subjects. Now, their identities, well, the person who took the picture's identity has been released, but the person operating the email account, I don't know that they have been released yet. In the piece published by the Sylva Herald and Smoky Mountain News, Wallowinder recalls an interesting interaction with Jackson County GOP Chair Keith Blaine, a close ally of Gaston's, that is made even more interesting in light of the photos emerging. So, let's paint this picture. The following morning after this meeting, the morning after this picture was taken over this woman's shoulder, the president of the Jackson County GOP the chair of the Jackson County GOP, approached the same woman as I was turning away with my back to the headquarters. Keith Blaine ran out and said, "Casey, did you have fun talking to Dave and Beth at the meeting last night? These men are acting like children. These men are acting like children." Looking over her shoulder and reading her text messages, and that is playground banter. That is things that children say on the playground. Holy shit. Wallowinder said that implied that Blaine had knowledge of the photos before the emails were sent. It hasn't been confirmed that Gaston or Blaine sent the anonymous emails, but much of the language mirrors that of an email sent by Gaston from his wife's Macon County Library Advisory Board account in February of last year. And there's a quote from that email: "Leaving the FRL needs to be discussed by Commissioner. Decision to leave when the time comes, just as Yancey voted." It's just library bullshit. The emails also read similar to a letter to the editor from Gaston published in last week's edition of the Franklin Press, in which he makes sweeping claims to disparage the leftist minority and its anti-American ideology. This Jim Gaston guy seems to really have it dialed in and know what's going on. This guy gets it. This fucking guy gets it. However, in a text message to the Smoky Mountain News, Gaston denied sending the emails, and in a phone call, Blaine didn't deny having knowledge of the emails, but rather asked to see the emails so he could weigh in on their contents. "I didn't send the email, but if you would be happy to give me a copy of it, I might be able to help you find out where it came from." This is fucking insane. In a text message to the Smoky Mountain News, Gaston and I said, "Blaine did it." Answering a follow-up question via text message regarding the photos of Wallowinder, Gaston didn't deny taking pictures of the text messages, but did note that the photos of Wallowinder colluding with the local press and mocking board members were forwarded to a good many people. The message also featured attacks against several groups, again, using language similar to the emails. There's a pattern of language. If I could get a copy of this email, Dave, I would be happy to investigate Jim's public writing. I would be happy to do a live public comparison. David Russell, send me a copy of that email, the threatening email that you received, and we will do an on-air analysis of comparing that writing to Jim's public writing that he's posted in various opinion pieces over the years. Let's make that happen, David Russell. These people have witnessed firsthand the misinformation spread by FRL staff, local media, and others, wearing yellow shirts in public who want to control our libraries throughout 3 counties, Gaston said in the message. The photos and recent threats in a public email sent to commissioners by the Friends of Casher's Library to withhold funding to libraries from community groups unless the commissioners bow to their demands are more proof of the leftist attacks of our libraries. These attacks have extended to all who desire balance and neutrality in our cherished libraries. That was the pattern. They kept saying neutrality, yet their behavior was nothing close to neutrality. Libraries should never be a place of political activism, as suddenly became the norm 4 to 5 years ago with DEI propaganda. Let's read that again. Libraries should never be a place of political activism, as suddenly became the norm 4 to 5 years ago with DEI propaganda, which is absolutely crazy because the library has literally been the place of political activism in this county for like the last 2.5 years, bro. So you just need to calm the fuck down, Jim. I am losing my voice. That didn't take long. 52 minutes of chatter and reading, and it's going. Shortly after the email was sent to the Sylva Herald leadership, a similar one was sent to this reporter. However, this email included a line at the bottom mentioning that other extremists were involved in steering a false narrative, including this reporter. Other damning text threads reveal more collusion, members such as Fontana Library staff, but shall remain unnamed to you for now, the email reads. Both emails conclude with the sentence, "Thank you for your attention to this matter," the same as Trump's sign-off. The same as Trump's sign-off on written communications. This is freaking hilarious, dude. These motherfuckers. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Jim Gaston. Thank you for your attention to this matter, Keith Blaine. This is fucking insane. These dudes have lost their mind. There's only one thing to do. There's the email address right there. If you have something nice to say to these folks, if you want to give them a piece of your mind, there's no telling how long they're going to keep this email address active. But if you have questions, I encourage you to maybe ask them, what does what does all this shit mean? So they're up to something. In September last year, Walmart resigned from their post as FRL chair and vice chair, respectively. They remain on the board and have frequently voted against the majority. It's just more nonsense. It's just the same old. On Monday, January 19th, Womble received an email from drussell69 at protonmail.me. That one right down there. It appears to also be addressed to others, but Smoky Mountain News hasn't learned who all received that email. This email, which contains transphobic language, said it's past time for Womble and Monet to resign from the FRL board and concentrate on Swain County where they belong. It further describes a political cancer within the FRL, going on to say Womble has obstructed intelligent dialogue during a time that library staff has been operating controversially with illegal actions. The email goes on to leave several accusations of hypocrisy against Womble, most of which use straw man arguments and false equivalencies. Her mentality is not supportive of libraries, the email reads. It's bureaucratic paternalism and political in nature. Obviously, Ms. Womble and Director Fitzmaurice have put their authoritarian bureaucracy ahead of the library's mission itself. So it's just like, again, a pattern of this email harassing people around town, a fake email or they're accusing the other side, us, of this mob mentality and hiding and doing all these things, yet they are sending these threatening emails quite often from what it looks like. A fourth email regarding Serenity Richards, the librarian who resigned, and explained her reasoning during the meeting's public comment period. That email was addressed to Richards, Fitzmaurice, and several people at WCU. So they're like asking her, "Whoa, did you really resign because of us, or did you resign because you're taking a new position?" Which she says, "No, I didn't take a new position. I resigned." The recent strings of harassing emails from that address aren't the only ones FRL staff have received. On November 1st of last year, an email from the same address criticized Fitzmaurice while also questioning whether any attorney might retain the FRL might retain would be vetted for bias, adding they thought large harbored in bias that aligned with Fitzmaurice's. Yeah, so it's just like a pattern of harassing behavior from these guys, like one after another. An attack on the First Amendment, attack on the community of Jackson County. I mean, those guys, like reading all that right there, I mean, it's pretty obvious to see that like there's two dudes who are like spearheading this stuff and are doing like the heavy lifting and the legwork and the shady stuff online. Couple old bags like they got in position and stuff, and then these two shady dudes doing whatever. It's obvious. D Russell 69 at protonmail.me. We're gonna send them an email or tonight to see if one of those two gentlemen would like to come on this podcast and share their message. One of those gentlemen want to come on their podcast and prove to me that they're not behind sending those emails right now. Because according to everything that has been reported, y'all are doing this shit, doggy. Y'all are doing this shit. Rumor has it, so I was told. Word on the street, y'all are doing this shit, bro. Y'all are doing it. So I set all of that up. I set all of that up because yeah, and y'all go ahead and roast them up. Roast them if you got them, baby. Use your First Amendment. If they're going to take your First Amendment out of the libraries, go ahead and exercise that in your emails. Why do you think Sylva Herald, Smoky Mountain News put that email address out there? Because they want you to email them. I said that. I said that. They didn't say that. They didn't say that. They put it out there so that it was public information. And it might be fun to roast them. It might be fun to roast them. I'm just saying, how long before they shut that baby down? How many emails do they have to take before you can shut that baby down? I mean, y'all can get creative too, and use your imaginations. You know what I mean? What are they trying to fight against? Maybe you should send them some of that. There's the email address right there. Send them your good stuff. But I say all that because, like, literally, it's not a good look, right? It is not a good look. So, who would want to align with such behavior? Who would want to um, work alongside those guys with the same agenda when they're being so shady, quite honestly? And so I like to talk to Todd Bryson. I have a message for Todd Bryson. And in order to get into that message, we are going to need to um, take a look at last week's county commissioners meeting. Let me see. So at the last county commissioners meeting, let's set it up, right? Library. This is the T right here. We're getting into it right now. This is the T right here. Library. So that's the crew right there that have voted for the Jackson County to leave the FRL library agreement. 4 out of 5 voted to leave. The chair voted against it. However, most of them, they're all Republican, voted in commissioners. All of them ran on conservative spending, balanced budgets. I heard Todd Bryson talking about balanced budgets and not wasteful spending, smart projects, doing things that will grow Jackson County. During his campaign, he talked a lot about like getting businesses to come here and things like that. But really, like conservative spending, was the message that I heard from him. Yet 4 out of 5 of them voted for this. And 3 out of 5 I know are like pretty involved in this bullshit. It's very obvious when we play the next tape. 3 out of the 5 are very involved in this. So just last week, they amended the budget. They voted to amend our budget because they need an additional $350,000 to exit the library. That's no surprise. We all knew this was coming. Every commissioner knew it was coming. Every constituent that was paying attention knew that it was going to cost us more to exit the library. We're planning to spend the money, right? But I could tell that like leading up to it, some of the commissioners also knew. If they didn't know, they were definitely told that it was going to cost more money to leave the FRL library. It was in the public meetings. They talked about it over and over again. They had the big forum at SCC where they all sat down on the panel. It's on their YouTube page. Go look it up. They all sat up there and were explained by Kevin King how much it was going to cost. They all knew that it was going to cost additional dollars. And so here we are. The exit is coming up. Was it like June or July or something? We're out of there. They got to start. Things have to happen. Things have to start moving. So last Tuesday at the most recent county commissioners meeting, they voted almost unanimously to approve the $350,000 to amend the budget. I watched the vote. Now, the first thing that I noticed was that if you looked on the agenda for the meeting, I could find no reference of this vote taking place that night. They did not have a line on the agenda that they would be voting on that night, right? So it's just like we're setting up a pattern of behavior again, right? Patterns of behavior. But there was no mention of it. There was no mention of it whatsoever. What's the date? What was the date of that meeting? 1/20. So the closest thing to a mention of it, let's make that big. The closest thing to a mention of it was on line 2. There was a budget ordinance amendment, which was essentially what they were doing. They were voting to amend that budget. They're voting to amend that budget. There are 2 line items to vote on that night for the amendment. But when you click on it and open it, there is no mention of the 3. There's nothing about the library. Animal shelter, low income energy program, transfer to school improvement fund, funds balance. There's no $350K library listed on this budget ordinance amendment. It's not there. There's nothing listed. And then you can read through each line. And essentially when they do these meetings, like this is their agenda, and they're going to go like line by line. little sheriff's report towards the end. They have a press conference and then a closed session. And that's what we're going to get into. We talked about why and whatever, but that was it, right? Wrap up the meeting in a closed session. So, no mention of a $350,000 vote, even though we know it's coming. Like, there's no surprise. We know it's coming, but I'm just making a reference that it's not on the agenda. There is no mention of it being on the agenda. So when you go to the actual meeting, what you'll notice is they had a really pretty standard, very standard meeting. I'll just pop it up for just a second. And a very standard meeting. Normal stuff, all the things on the budget. I got a public comment. A matter of fact, there's Casey right there too. That's the woman that they're harassing and taking pictures over her shoulder that's running for office. Go watch her stuff. Look her stuff up.
A tricky dynamic.
Okay, I wanted to talk about the banning of a book called Huck Finn by Mark Twain.
Shout out Chris
It
B.
was banned years ago in California. A school teacher named Rafi Esquith didn't like this ban, and he took it to court. He took it to the commissioners, just like I'm doing right now. And he found out that the people who were banning the book had not actually read the book. They just read like little portions, little handouts, little pamphlets. And Mark and Rafi Esquith wound up winning this little battle.
That's not why we're here. But we're just showing it's just a very standard meeting, right? A lot of well attended. You see some yellow out there. All this is like the library corner right here. All these folks are here still in support of the library, even though they've already voted to leave, even though whatnot. So people still in support of and still going to the meetings, still showing up with public comment and asking the commissioners to change their mind. They're still going down there and asking them not to leave. They're still giving them the same reasons. Even though the deadline's coming up and even though they've already left. Even though the deadline's is coming up and even though they've already voted to leave. But if you scroll through, it's, public comment after public comment. And then, so here we go. Normal meeting, right? Everything's good. And then right here at the 117 mark, they go into a closed session. Not out of the ordinary. Not out of the ordinary at all. Closed session is the last thing on the agenda. Closed session is the last thing on the agenda. Not out of the ordinary. However, they stayed in that closed session 117, 1 hour and 17 minutes. So that an hour and 17-minute meeting. There's 217 still in session. So they're in a closed session for over an hour. 217. 227, hour and 10 minutes. 237, an hour and 20 minutes. An hour and 20 minutes of a closed session, of them being behind closed doors. Okay? After having a regular meeting. Let's hear this out, baby boy. Let's hear this out. Let's paint this picture. Okay? Normal meeting. Closed session, 120 minutes. And then they came out at 2:43, just under 2 hours. Hour and a half, whatever. They're in there for an hour and a half, a little over an hour and a half. They are behind closed doors. So they come out of the closed session and immediately they come out of closed session and immediately throw it to a vote. What the fuck, right? A closed session and they immediately throw it to a vote. And let's see how it went down.
Moving on now to our budget amendment, you have one budget amendment.
Can't hear it. I gotta hold on. Give me a second. I gotta find I have a video with better audio. All right, I found it. They come out of a closed session, an unusually long closed session, right? Over an hour and a half with no library stuff really on the agenda. And this is what happens.
Moving on now to our budget amendment, you have one budget amendment for
Watch closely. Watch closely as this goes down. Okay. They just came out of closed session. Just came out of closed session.
library contracted services, library capital outlay equipment. It's coming.
An hour and a half behind closed doors. All those people that were in attendance that I just showed you have already vacated, right? They didn't stick around. They didn't think anything was coming next, right? Nothing was on the agenda that it would be next. But what?
Contracted services. One budget amendment for
One budget amendment for
library contracted services, library capital outlay
library contracted services and library capital outlook
equipment. It's coming from
equipment.
fund balance. It is $350,000.
$350,000 from the fund budget. Now let's watch how this vote goes down.
If there is a motion to approve the amendment, and a second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hempler,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernstein,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Chairman Martin.
No. With no further business this evening, is there a motion for adjournment? So moved. And a second? Second.
What do you notice? What do you notice? Do I need to play it again one more time? Just real slow for you. What do you notice? It was swift. I felt like they knew it was coming, right? They came right out of the session, longest closed session. They never stay back there that long. They never stay back there that long. They knew the vote was coming, right?
Moving on now to our budget amendment. You have one budget amendment for library contracted services, library capital outlay equipment. It's coming from fund balance. It is $350,000. If there is a motion to approve the amendment, and a second. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hempler,
Yes.
Mr. Bronstein,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Chairman Martin.
No. With no further business this evening,
Wow. Wow. Somebody's not happy. Somebody is not happy. Why do you think that is?
Mr. Bronstein,
Why do you think that is? Huh? Somebody wasn't happy. Okay. Let's should I do it one more time for you? Did you see what I saw? Did you see what I saw? Did you see what I saw? Todd Bryson did not want to vote for this. Todd Bryson did not want to spend the money. He knew it was a bad idea. He voted yes, and his body language said no. Let's watch this again. He voted yes, and his body language said no.
Mr. Bronstein,
yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Chairman Martin.
His body language said no.
Mr. Bronstein,
1,000, 1,000, 1,000.
Yes.
3-second pause. Look at that smirk on his face. He is embarrassed. He is embarrassed. That is the look of shame, right? Look at that. A 3-second pause after a 90-minute meeting, right? A 90-minute behind closed doors meeting where you know that's coming. He's sending a message to them, or he's signaling to us that he's out. Which one is it, Todd? Are you telling them that you're done, or do you want to be done, bro? You're better than this, man. This ain't you. All this stuff. I know you're a good man. I know you care about this community. Voting like this ain't that, dude. Look at you, man. I can tell that you don't want to do this. It's obvious that you don't want to do
Mr.
this.
Bronstein,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
The head shake, dude. You said yes and shook your head no. You said yes and shook your head no.
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Now, is this the face of a man that doesn't want to be associated with drussell69 at proton.me? That's what I'm feeling, dude. I'm feeling that you're a good dude and that you don't want to be a part of this. You are not running for re-election, sir. You are not running for re-election. I wonder why that is, bro. I wonder why that is. You're not like these guys, dude. You're not drussell69 at protonmail.me. That's not who you are, bro. You're a good cat. And I got news for you. It's not too late. It is not too late to pull the nose up on this thing, bro. Change direction. It is an honorable thing to change your mind, bro. So I'm inviting you to come here and speak to me. And let's talk about what I just saw. What did I just see, Mr. Bryson? What was that? We know that you didn't want to vote for that. We know that you didn't, yet you did. It still would have passed. You could have voted no. You knew Mark was going to vote no. You still voted for it. I don't understand, dude. I don't understand. Come talk to me, bro. Let's go. Let's iron this out. Let's fix this. We can fix this together, dude. We can fix this together. You're better than this, Todd. You are better than this, man. I know you're a good dude. So I'm fired up, man. I mean, bro, He did not want to do this vote.
Mr. Bronstein,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner,
Moving on now to our budget.
And the other thing, so let's replay the whole thing. And before we wrap it up, let's replay this whole thing.
Moving on now to our budget amendment.
Because they knew it was coming and they wanted it. So let's look at Mr. Smith and let's look at Miss Hooper and Mr. Jennings. Mr. Jennings is so quiet over there and just casts his vote that he often doesn't get the publicity that he deserves for his fucking participation in this bullshit.
You have one budget amendment for library contracted services, library capital outlay equipment. It's coming from fund balance. It is
3 positions available, 3 seats right here. 3 seats up for re-election in November with a primary in just a few weeks.
$350,000. If there is a motion,
Motion to approve the amendment.
Oh, Big Daddy wants that motion bad. He wants that motion.
and a second.
Second.
Jennings is on it. That's the most you'll hear him speaking. That man don't like to speak into the microphone. He needs to learn microphone etiquette. But watch him lift his head up and just talk right into it for the first time like a big boy.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Hempler,
Yes.
She's ready. She could not cast that vote fast enough. Let's do this again, Todd. Come on, buddy. Come on, dude.
Mr. Bronstein,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
The head shake, dude. The head shake. I mean, it's so obvious.
Mr. Bronstein,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Oh. From that facial expression, from the smirk on your face to the head shake, of course you don't want to do it.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
You know it ain't right, Todd. You know it ain't right. So I think that'll be the end of this week's episode. That was a lot of fun. That's it. Todd, roast the boys. drussell69@protonmail.me if you have something to say about the behavior of the Jackson County Republican Party. Hit them up right there, drussell69@proton.me. That is their new forwarding address for the Jackson County GOP. So if you have anything to say to the Jackson County GOP, hit them up right there. Somebody get this video to Todd Bryson immediately. This is straight from the heart, dude. I love you, bro. I fucking love you, Todd Bryson. Come talk to me, man. You're better than this, man. You don't have to do this stuff. You don't want to do this. You've showed us that. You've showed us that you don't want to do that. By that behavior right there. So, yeah, dude, come on, man. Holler at your boy, Todd Bryson.